So welcome everybody to our session today. This is part of the 2026 Roadmap webinar series, Linked Open Data Editor for BIBFRAME Records. And we're joined with us today by Yifat Lulav from Alma Product Management. Yifat, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for taking time out of, I know it is your very, very busy schedule, so we appreciate that very much.
Happy to be here.
And let's just see where we are right now in our schedule of this webinar series. So this is, I believe, our 7th session already. So we are in June and we're on our 7th session. That means we're averaging more than one a month, and we're about halfway done with the year. I think the end of June we'll be done with half the year. In any case, so these are our previous sessions. I'm not going to go through them all. We can all continue. Someone says they can't hear. Let's just do a very quick check. Anybody else can hear? Okay, others are saying they can't hear. So person who couldn't hear, apparently it's on your end because others are saying they can hear. Okay, so these are all our previous sessions. This page here, which I know most of you have because most of the registrations came from here. I'm going to put it in the chat here in case anybody doesn't has it and wants to have it. And this page includes the options to register for upcoming sessions, view the accompanying resources for all sessions, and also view the recordings. The last column there you can see includes the recordings. So today, I'm scrolling down to today, June 4th, linked open data editor for BIBFRAME. Sometime either tomorrow, maybe it'll have to wait till Sunday. This is the end of our work week now, but I think I'll get it up there, the recording before Sunday. In any case, we will have the recording there in the right column, the column all the way to the right. I don't mean the right, the correct one, the right all the way to the right. And it'll also be on YouTube. It'll also be on our webinars education page. And everything I'm showing, you can see here in these PowerPoints. I'm not going to go through the PowerPoints except for a few select slides, but I'm not going to be showing the PowerPoints one by one, slide by slide. I don't want to bore anybody. So look at that. We're up to 114 people already, Elad. It was 80 just 3 minutes ago. Now it's 114. At this rate, we'll be at 200 by 1706. In any case, one small advertisement for next week. Next week, June 9th, new developments in physical fulfillment in Alma. We have a lot of people registered for that one already. If you haven't registered yet, there's a 5,000 registrant limit. So register quick before we get to 5,000 so you can secure your spot. New developments in physical fulfillment in Alma. We're going to be showing developments which are relevant for every institution in the world. It's not just going to be resource sharing or not just Alma Fulfillment Network or not just Network Zone Consortia. It's going to be developments that are relevant for all users. So we hope to see you next week, June 9th. And without further ado, let's go to our session today, Linked Open Data Editor for BIBFRAME. So what are we going to be talking about today? A very general overview of BIBFRAME. I'm saying very general because this session that we're doing now is actually a sequel to a previous session that we did at the beginning of the year. Here you can see March 5th, we did a linked open data editor for BIBFRAME, and we said during that session that we're going to do one later in the year when there are more developments, and now we are in that session, which is later in the year when there are more developments. I looked at the recording of this one from March 5th to try to see what was new, and it's just completely redone. It's not like we added a field here, added a field here, added a button. Whole new concept, or not a whole new concept, but a new concept. For example, the ability to use templates, which was just kind of getting started back in March. So anyway, we're going to start with a very, very general overview. Then we're going to see some real live examples. In fact, I think we're going to skip the overview this time. Let's jump into the real live examples right now. So BIBFRAME, and I'm going to skip this introduction and overview because we don't want to turn this into a lesson about BIBFRAME, but I will say the key difference between BIBFRAME and MARC records If somebody says to you later, what did you learn? What is BIBFRAME? BIBFRAME, instead of having text for strings of headings, it has URIs. That means instead of being the text of an author, which might say Frieden, comma, space, Betty, and then the subfield D with a date, and then a connection to an authority record, it will be the URI, the URL, the web page of that authority record. Or if I have a subject, Krakow Libraries, and every night we have to do this authority control task list and go to the community zone and see if the text has changed and then bring it back. That's not needed anymore. The authority control task list, which checks did headings change, we don't need that anymore because the heading is saved inside the record, and we're going to see that. By the way, somebody just asked if we can put the recordings in the chat. No, well, we can, but we're not going to, because this page here, which I did put the link to this in the chat, has all of the information. I'm going to put it in the chat again. And now you got it again. So all of the presentations are here. So we're not going to put the presentations in the chat. You can link to them from right here. And by the way, I will put in another page as well. I'll put in this page here, because this page, you've also got a lot about the BIBFRAME. You've even got these exercises. These were exercises used at eLuna. We're going to use these exercises also at Igloo. And you can be a certified BIBFRAME librarian if you pass the test and take all of these, but that's for another time. So I'm going to send out this one also, and you'll have presentations here and exercises. And without further ado, let's begin. So I'm jumping into Alma now, and I'm not using any kind of special future development version. I'm in the regular current release that you all have. And if you want to use BIBFRAME, all you need to do is activate it. And it's just clicking a button. That's really all there is. If you come to configuration, I'm clicking configuration on the bottom left. And then under resources, we have here, configuration, resources, activate linked open data formats. If you click the activate linked open data formats, there's a checkbox right there, and you can activate BIBFRAME in your institution. When BIBFRAME is activated, if I come to resources cataloging metadata configuration, just like we have these profiles for all of the other marks, now you probably don't have in your institution this many marks. I show marks all over the place. So I have Chinese mark, German authority mark, Unimark, Dublin Core, etc. But you'll have Mark 21, maybe another one or two, and these BIBFRAME profiles. And I'm just going to very briefly show one of these BIBFRAME profiles. If I click on, for example, this LC BIBFRAME instance, it lists all the various fields. And for example, if I was looking for some kind of a title, so I can see the main title here, mandatory, repeatable, subtitle, whether it's mandatory, this one's not mandatory, but is repeatable, etc. Let's take a look now at some BIBFRAME records, just as an example. So I'm starting with a BIBFRAME record called Only in Krakow. Now note my search right now was via all titles for Only in Krakow, and I have two records, and I know that both of these records are BIBFRAME from a couple of different ways. Let's first of all get this into the not split mode. So I am going to close here. All right, so I know both of these are BIBFRAME because I got a facet here, and there's only BIBFRAME instances. If I were to just put the word Krakow in there, not just Krakow, but one word, now you can see I have record format on the left here, some are marked, some are BIBFRAME. I can also search here. I'm going to go into the advanced search now, and I can say title contains keywords, whatever, let's say blue eyes. And then I can also say here, new field, record format is BIBFRAME. So I can search directly for BIBFRAME, or I can facet after a search. And now I have beautiful blue eyes, which I know is a BIBFRAME instance because it says here that it's a BIBFRAME instance. I would also know once I click edit, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, sorry, there is a
Yep.
request to zoom in the screen if you can.
Okay. So I made it larger. I don't want to make it too large because then windows go on top of each other, but I did just make it larger. Now it's at 190%. Let's go one step further. Okay. Now, I could also do that search as a works search. BIBFRAME includes works and instances. A work is an intellectual expression, and an instance is, like the word, an instance, a form of the item. For example, beautiful blue eyes, I now did a work search, and it says there is one instance. So if now I say, I click on the instance, I see here a link to the instance. If, however, I had searched via all titles, which we already did, I get directly to the instance. So the titles searches, whether it be all titles, physical titles, digital titles, electronic titles, bring the instance, and the work brings the work. What we're looking at now, this beautiful blue eyes, let's even say I want to facet this by only BIBFRAME. So there is one instance of beautiful blue eyes. However, if I had come and searched here for only in Krakow, this has two instances, both to the same work. For example, if I come here to search works and I say only in Krakow, it's still one work, but two instances. Now, why are there two instances? And there's kind of a debate, let's call it. A friendly debate in the academic library, et cetera, world, at least from what I see when reading, of when and why would someone have multiple instances in one work? And I don't want to get into, is this correct, not correct, when would I not? Because there seems to be some kind of still figuring it out, let's say. And when I search ID.gov, which is the Library of Congress, there's always, I've never seen a case of multiple instances on one work. But let's save that all on the side. So here I have two instances. It's the same exact work. The only difference is the medium. In other words, if I have one work and two instances, or two cases of the same book. Let's take this one here. I have a day in the life career options in library and information science. Let's say I have this and I have this also an audio one, but the audio one is an expanded and revised edition and has narrators, and really the work has changed. Then it would be different, but that's not the case on the Only in Krakow. Here I have an electronic one and I have a physical one, and the electronic one is the same exact as the physical. It's simply a spoken one. It's a audiobook on Spotify, but it's the same exact work, published same year by the same publisher. Everything is the same. It's just in a different medium. It's not an expanded, revised, enlarged, any kind of other edition. Same thing, different medium. So that's the works and the instances without turning this into a lesson in BIBFRAME, because our focus here is the BIBFRAME editor, but we do want to point out a bit about BIBFRAME. So that's enough of the overview. The real live examples, let's go in a little more in depth now. So now I'm going to come into the instances again. So I'm going to search all titles for this only in Krakow. And we're going to see two instances. So I see here the electronic and I see the physical. If I look at this electronic one, I'm going to say edit record. Alma knows, because this is a BIBFRAME instance, Alma knows automatically to open the BIBFRAME editor. It doesn't open the regular metadata editor. It opened the BIBFRAME editor. And this has, let me say edit here. I'm going to click the little pencil here to edit. Did someone say something? Okay. Somebody mute yourself. Somebody's talking, or I'll just mute everybody. Okay. So here, this only in Krakow, which I opened up, it says online resource audio. The media type is audio. The carrier type is online resource. And it's an instance of only in Krakow. If I take the other one, I'm going to take this one now, and I edit this one, and we look. So this one is going to have media. Okay, this one I need to get it. It says N, but that means volume. I'm going to come here. I imported this from Library of Congress, and it didn't have this label. So now this media type is unmedia. This is like the 337, 338, 336 also, for those of you cataloging RDA. So this one here is volume, volume unmediated, and the other one was online resource. So there's one work for both of them. The instances are all the same in this case, except for those two fields. Now I have the icon. It takes a little bit for the icon to come in. About an hour before the session, I added this one. Now we have the icon. Now, if I look at the other one, Beautiful Blue Eyes, I could have made one record, Beautiful Blue Eyes, only in Krakow, and then we would have had it all solved. But now if I look at this one, there's only one. There's only one work. There's only one instance. And everything about it is here. Oh, I may do edit record. So this one also has a media type, volume. Let's click. This is the lookup. We'll talk more about the lookup in a moment, which is unmediated. And NC, I believe, is the other one called NC, which is going to be volume or carrier volume. So we're going to talk more about that as we go more in depth, but that's the basics. There's works and there's instances. Those of you who are into the Ferber world, functional requirements for bibliographic records from the IFLA, there's also a work. There's a WEMI, work, expression, manifestation, and item. Here we've got the work and the instance. Now, let's move back to the itinerary. We want to stay close to the itinerary. So now we're going to look here, how to create a new BibFrame record from scratch, how to create a new BibFrame record from a template, and how to edit an existing BibFrame record. So let's start with creating a new BibFrame record from scratch. Here we go. And of course, you need to have the BibFrame activated that I showed at the beginning. And for that, you need to be General System Administrator. And now for what I'm showing, you need to have the cataloger roles. So if we say here, resources, catalog BibFrame records, I'm going to close this. This is still open. I just need to release it. Just like in the metadata editor today, if you don't release a record, it stays open. So this only in Krakow is still open. I got to release the only in Krakow. Okay, so I'm going to create a brand new record from scratch now. Brand new. Okay. So clicking create new record on the top right. Then I choose a work or an instance. The work is created first because you can't just have an instance. An instance has to be connected to a work. That's not a Ex Libris Alma invention. That's how it works. And as you see in these radio buttons on the bottom, I can choose either create from template or create blank. So I'm going to choose create blank. Now a subclass. And this is part of that whole ongoing debate of if I have one work and I have multiple instances and they're different formats, what do I put in my subclass? But we're not going to get into those kind of academic debates. So I'm going to say this is a brand new record. Let's make this a monograph. And create blank. So it's only going to have two fields now. Well, one, but once I save it, it'll have another one. The title, and then the instance, where it's going to be connected to. But let's start with the title. So I'll put in a title. Anyone have a suggestion of a title? Put it in. Otherwise, I'll just make something up. His session will be recorded. Let's say that's the title. Okay. And by the way, yes, these sessions are always recorded. Always recorded, and always at the beginning of the session, I mentioned that. I told you where it goes, etc. So that's my title. His session will be recorded. Thank you for putting that in. And I could add another field. Now, there's multiple ways to add a field. I'm going to go more in depth later on adding fields, but let's say I want to add a field now. So I'm going to click add field, and there's multiple ways to add the field. Let's say now I want to add a subject. And I could put in a class, but let's save the class for later. I'll say add. Now, I'm already showing a little bit of the metadata, the linked open data editor for BIBFRAME, even though the goal now is how to create a new record. I'm going to do what's called a lookup. For a lookup, I click here, and then I can search for values that go in. Think of F3 or open authority headings if you were in the old metadata editor, the old one. The current metadata editor. There's always an issue, by the way, when you explain something like this. It's not the first time something new comes out in the library world in the past 26 years. So there's always an issue here. Do you want to compare it to the old one, or do you just want to only talk about the new one? What helps a person on a educational level, pedagogical level? I will compare it to the current method. So now if you start typing a subject in the metadata editor and do F3 or menu open authority headings, you go to Library of Congress. So here I click that open lookup. Here too I can search different sources. I'm going to search Library of Congress subject headings for anything. Let's say we want to search for scarves. You think this, oh, there are scarves in there. Let's say I want scarves. Let's take scarves in art. That's even nicer. Select. So now I've added that. But let's say I want to add a field free text form. I could duplicate this field. I'm clicking duplicate now. And now instead of clicking the lookup, I'm going to click this one here. And now I can put whatever I want in here. Let's say having fun times together, like we're doing now in our webinar. And then I would put in the URL itself. And whatever I want here, sienna.com/fun. Okay. So now I have one that I added by myself and one that I took from Library of Congress, save. And that's enough for our purposes. I just wanted to open a record. I created a work. So it's called His Session Will Be Recorded, Save Record, save and release even. So now I have created from scratch a work. Now I'm going to create from scratch an instance, create new record on the top right. This time I'll choose instance. Again, I'm going to choose create blank. And again, I'll make this, well, not again, I'll make this printed. And I'll catalog it. By the way, you can't choose catalog until you choose a subclass. You see it's grayed out. Then I choose this and catalog. By the way, all of these are covered. If anyone's coming to Igloo and you come to the Knowledge Days, you can sign up for a a double session, a complete morning of BibFrame, and we're going to go through these exercises, and then you can be a certified BibFrame cataloger in Alma. Or you can do these on your own too. You go step by step, everything I'm showing you'll get with pictures and explanations, so feel free. Now, I'll give it here. I'll say, usually the title of the instance is the same, at least very similar as the work. And instance of. So now I need to link this to the work. It's an instance of a work. So I'll click here to go look for it, the lookup. Here I can't use the pencil and write on my own because I need a work that's in my repository. So I'll go search. Let's search for the word recorded as a keyword in the works. There she is. From right now, 1624. This is an Amsterdam server. And select. So now I've added a instance. And I will save this, save and release even. So now I've created a very basic, but our goal was simply to show how can we create a work in an instance from scratch. And I've created a work in an instance from scratch. I can also do that from a template. And there's a whole methodology of managing templates, which we could do a 1-hour session on managing templates, and perhaps we will do that. If I come here to resources, I've got this manage BibFrame templates. And I could, one option, I could create a new record directly from a template. These are my templates. I've got one that already has language English and subject feminism filled in. I've got one that already has Krakow as a place filled in. I've got Yoel and Alicia's work template for monographs, for prints, for etc. And I could come along to one of these and say, create new record, and create a record from a template, like I can do today in the Mark 21 editor. Let's say, though, I want now to do it differently. I'm going to come where we were before, which was resources, catalog, BibFrame records. And like we did before, create new record. But last time we did it from create blank. I was here last time. Now we're doing it from the create from template radio button. Then I need to choose a template. Note here the catalog is grayed out until I choose a template. Note also these templates will change. For example, you see here Yoel and Alicia's work template, and you don't see anything about Krakow on the bottom. But if I choose here that I want to do it for an instance, now I see Yoel and Alicia's instance because now my class that I chose on top is instance. And I can say Yoel instance Krakow because now I do have that template. So the templates change according to the class that I choose, which is correct. That's how we want it to work. So now we're coming back into the work. Let's choose a template. Let's even take this Yoel and Alicia's work template for monograph. Okay, catalog. So let's give it a title. The IT Specialist's Guide to BibFrame. Okay, let's cake that and just save it in case you want. The sequel, or let's say everything you wanted to know, but was afraid to ask. Maybe there really is an item like that in the world. Now I'm going to start already showing using the linked open data editor for BibFrame. So now we showed the different ways to create it. Now I'm already going to be here. But we're also going to show how to edit an existing record. Associated agent. So these fields were already in the template. That's why they're here. We're going to focus soon on adding new fields as well, but these were already part of it. So let's look for an author here. I'm going to click here. Let's see if there's any authors here. I don't know who. Let's say we look for this one. Oh, let's say we look for teachers. That's what I meant. Okay. Let's take Kelly Connell, the teacher's assistant. Select. Now, what is the role? That might be an editor, might be a contributor, might be an author. And let's say I don't know what this whole contributor role field is. It's the IT specialist guide to BIBFRAME, but maybe I'm not an IT specialist. So I can click on this information, and that brings me the link straight to the Library of Congress. Now, there's something called a class and a property, which is why something is capital and something is not capital here. I'm going to save that for another day because I'm being really careful here. This isn't the first session we've done on this BibFrame for an hour, and I'm being extra careful not to turn it into a BibFrame session, but rather to focus on what's in the metadata editor, in the linked open data editor. So if I click on this one, or if I click on this one, it's going to bring me, you see ID.gov ontologies. It's bringing me directly to Library of Congress with the information about it, with a link here to the controlled list. I got to prove I'm a human. Hold on. Let's see if he believes me. Yes, he believed that I'm a human. So now I have all of the different types of relators here. For example, I can be an audio engineer, an auctioneer, an artistic, a bookseller, all kinds of interesting things here. A curator. Maybe we'll make a dancer. So let's make it a dancer. Let's have a dancer here. The IT specialist will be a dancer. So now I want this to be dancer. Now I've seen what the options are. There's another way to see the options, by the way, too. I'm going to click the three dots here, the three lines. And by the way, this didn't always exist, by the way. If I put in an asterisk, I also see them all. That wasn't there in the past because I remember trying it. But I want dancer. So now I've added Kelly Connell, the teacher's assistant, in. I don't know if Kelly is a boy or he or she is a dancer. Now the contributor enroll contribution. This is the primary, like let's say a 1XX if we're talking about the mark, and these are a 7XX, the contributor. So let's choose one more, and I'll do the lookup. And let's say this will be Alicia. Alicia, we're going to spell that way now instead of the way I usually spell it. I'll spell it the way I usually spell it. Different countries spell it differently. Okay, and I'm going to take, let's take Alicia B. Zamudio. Select. Subject. I'll give this a roll too. Maybe she's also a dancer. Oh, she'll be a curator. I saw curator there also. Okay. Subject. I'm just going to give it one subject. Again, I'll click here. And let's give this, is BibFrame a subject? Wonderful. That's all I'm going to do now. Save and release record, because I want to show something on this in a moment. Now take note, I gave it subject BibFrame. In fact, I'm going to take a picture of that because I'm going to show/prove something now of something I said at the very beginning. Okay, so I have in my record this subject BibFrame, and what's being saved in the record is not the text BibFrame space open parentheses conceptual model close parentheses. So if this ever changes, if Library of Congress decides to change it to BibFrame formats conceptual model or BibFrame dash conceptual model, it doesn't matter because I'm not saving this text, I'm saving the URI, and we're going to see that right now. I'm going to save and release this record. Let's just take the name of it because, okay. Save and release. Now, if I look at that record, that's a work, right? I did a work, if I'm not mistaken. We'll find out in a minute. Okay, something very important right now. If I look here, I'm looking now, this is the RDF of the bibliographic record. This is everything that's saved in that BibFrame record. And inside this BibFrame record, there is the subject, something that says BF subject. Here it is. Now note, it doesn't say, this is just a label. This is just a label of this. But what's saved, you can see, is ID LOCGov authorities, SH, blah, 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 blah. SH, let's even watch this. I'm going to show the table. There's also a turtle. If we have time, we'll show the turtle. The turtle is beautiful, but we'll start with the table. I'm going to go in here. And now I'm going to go back to the RDF XML. Inside, this is very important what I'm showing now. So this is a key attribute characteristics of the BibFrame. I'm not saving here in my record any text. I only save the URI, in this case of the subject. I have the URI of the author here. So it doesn't matter if tomorrow Library of Congress changes that heading. You see it goes to SH 2015-000202. That's this one here. It goes right to the heading. So there's no need for the authority control task list to go every night and check, did an authority record of a heading in my repository change? And if so, I need to do the preferred term correction job in order to change it, because I'm already pointing there. In addition to that, because I already have all of these links in here, it makes linked data really easy. All of the developments we did in the linked data, and their beautiful developments, the linked data info card, the contributor page, the autocomplete, which goes to the contributor page, all of that is dependent on the institution having URLs, or that we create the URLs on the fly. A BibFrame record already includes by default these URLs, just like this Zamudo Alicia goes directly to here. It goes directly to the URI, so there's no need to worry that this isn't going to be updated properly. This is just a label. It's simply for display reasons, so the user can see what NO 2012-106-3824 is. Very important point. The BibFrame record has within it, integrated as a native part of it, the URLs. So you have to have the URLs here. Super important. Now we're going to go to an instance. When we get to the instance, we're going to have to link it to this work. So here we go. We have the work, the IT Specialist Guide. Now we have an actual book. Let's say, let me get another book here. Let's pretend this is now, I want to put this actual physical piece, this is going to be the instance. The work is that intellectual idea, the work, the intellectual concept of what is it. So now let's add the instance. Resources, catalog BibFrame records, create new record. We're doing from a template. Now I'm choosing instance, and now I have my instance ones. Let's take this one here, catalog. And now I'm going to be quicker because there's still a lot more to show. And there's another way to add a record. So this will also be the IT Specialist Guide to BibFrame. And I need to link this to the work. So it's an instance of the work. I can't just be standing alone. If I try to save this now, it won't let me. See, field instance of is required. So let's go get it. I'm going to click here to the lookup service. And We'll look for the work. There she is. And select. Okay. I'll put in a couple of other things. Let's say this is the 21st edition. I'll give it a media type. So I'm going to come here and search for monograph. Monograph. Or what is it? MO? Let's say I don't know, which I really don't know. Actually, I could click search this way. Oh, we want unmediated volume. That's right. N and NC. This is going to be NC. I could also have clicked here and gotten the more information like we did before, which brought us to the vocabulary list, and then I could have seen my different options here. In fact, let's find another cool one here. Like we had the dancer and the curator. Film strip cartridge. There's a cool one. Ooh, audio wire reel. This is going to be an audio wire reel. Let's do that. So I will come here. Audio wire reel. Audio cylinder. That's even more cool. All right. So now I've added media type, carrier type, and anything else, but that's not our goal right now. Now I can save this, and he's not going to say there's a problem because I did fill in the mandatory fields, and now I have the work and the instance. So I created two records. I created the IT Specialist Guide to BIBFRAME. I created that via the templates. I see it when I search for the works. I see here that it has an instance. I could have also found it if I did an all title search and filtered by LC LCBF instance. And the other one we did was, will his session be recorded, right? I think that's what it was called. So that one also, I'm going to come here, LCBF instance. And here she is. That's the, by the way, by default, when you do create new record, it gets suppressed. I'm just going to unsuppress. And that's going to change eventually. But right now, because people are doing a lot of testing, we made it by default suppressed. So you won't get it in your discovery right now, unless you undo it. Now, before we go into editing an existing record, and before somebody asks, maybe they already did ask, I haven't been following the chat. It's also possible to copy a record from Library of Congress if you use Library Open Workflows. Library Open Workflows is a whole nother area within Alma where you can write cool little codes. You don't even need to be a programmer and have it do all kinds of things. So I'm going to show it. So let's say, for example, I'm going to go to ID.gov. And I'll make this one a little larger too for people. And let's say I search for something here. What do I want to search for? Somebody give me a suggestion of something to search for. Ask me if it's going to be recorded, for example. If not, I'll just make something up. Okay, I don't see anything. So let's keep our IT specialists. Oh, IT specialist Krakow. We already have an example here. Let's see. Nothing with IT specialist Krakow. You've got to be kidding me. Let's try IT specialist Poland. Also no. So let's just do Krakow. Let's do Krakow. If anybody was in our sessions about, what did we do? We wrote a regular expression to get them. That was in the mix panel. So you could get it with the K or the C. So let's say I'm going to take...
Okay, there are fantasy fiction, Heated Riverly, Lords of the Ring, California Flower.
Fantasy fiction. I'll take fantasy fiction. That
Fantasy
sounds like
fiction,
a nice one.
go. Thank you.
Okay, fantasy fiction. Let's take this one. Okay. A critical blah, blah, blah. All right, so you go into the record, any record, take the URL. Now I'm going to run the cloud app that uses the open workflows. So I'm going into the cloud apps, top right, more options. This is the cloud apps. Here's the library open workflows, and I have all kinds of workflows defined here. PO line price update, sync crisp bibliographic. I think that's something with Australia from, no. And now this one. So all I do is put in that URL. It can be either of the work or the instance and submit. Now it's running an API. By the way, if anybody's really interested, I made a blog here of how to do that API to create a bibliographic record. BIBFRAME API. API step BIBFRAME. Maybe that's it. It looks like I've been searching for it. Yeah, it basically does this blog, but automatically. Here I say how to do it step by step to go here and copy the record and import it with an API, and this cloud app does it automatically. So let's see what happened. It says here done. It gives me the MMS ID. It gives me the title. Let's go take a look at what happened. I should have an instance and a work. Beautiful.
Just before you forget, someone asked to post the blog URL, the blog
Okay.
URL. There is an interest.
All right. I'm glad to see there's an interest.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. So where were we? So here it is. I'm going to filter here by LCBF instance. It looks like we already had it as a MARC record from the community zone, but that's all right. We'll have a physical. Oh, this will be nice. I'm already thinking next time I show the overlap analysis of physical and electronic, not only will I have a physical and electronic, I'll have one BIBFRAME and one MARC 21. That's going to be beautiful. So now this is the one we just created. You can see today's date and time. This one already existed. This is from the community zone, an electronic. So this is the instance because I did an all title search. There's also going to be a work for this. I could also link to the work directly from the instance, but I'll search for it just to prove. Oops. Oh, there it is. Okay. So now I've got the work. Let's talk before, what time are we at? 47.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the inventory before I edit an existing record. Let's say I want to add physical inventory to this. So the inventory is added to on the instance level, which is the logical way, because like we saw at the beginning, you can have two different instances for the same work, and one might be audio and one might not be audio, and therefore it needs to have the appropriate inventory. So I'm going to create inventory on this. The inventory is still in the current metadata editor. It may remain there because you still need a regular holdings record, and that's in the regular metadata editor. So I'm going to push this to the metadata editor. I'm in the instance, right? Yes. So I'm going to say push to metadata editor. Now I'm going to go to the metadata editor. I'm clicking on the bottom left here, show metadata editor. And now let me explain before I do anything. 136 attendees right now. So before I do anything, I'm just going to explain. We use the metadata editor that I'm in now for some activities, such as what we're doing now, which is adding inventory. Also, I can delete a record from here. You can also delete it in another way, but I'm going to click here in the tab, top left, where it says LCBF instance. Then I'm going to choose this instance. I can't do anything here. That's why it says view only, but I can add inventory. And from here, I can add a digital representation, electronic portfolio, a holdings record. Let's even add a holdings record. And now I'll add an item. Now watch something else beautiful. I'm going to be on my 852, and I'm going to say update from bibliographic. And look at that. It added the call number into the subfield H and I, what it would normally do from a 050, the Library of Congress call number. It took it, it knows where to take it because there's always a Behind the scenes, it's looking at the table, which is called call number mapping, and it's saying what would be from the 050, takes it from the BIBFRAME and puts it where it needs to go. All of the flows are taken care of. So now I'm going to add the item. Add inventory, add item. Let that open up. And I'll say save. So now I've added an item. I imported from Library of Congress, and I added an item. Now, let's move on to editing an existing record. We've already got 10 minutes. So let's take an existing record. I'm going to start with an instance. So let's say we want, for example, blue lace. Let's even say we want luxury blue lace. How do you spell luxury? We'll find out if it's with a U or an E after the X. A U? Okay. Look at all the luxury blue laces I have. I thought I had one, but let's see. I'm gonna filter here by BIBFRAME instance. Okay. So now let's talk about editing this. So to edit, we click edit, as you've seen until now. Because this is a BIBFRAME record, Alma knows to open the BIBFRAME instance, and it knows when it's a Mark 21 record to open the Mark editor. And now we're going to start playing around here. So let's say I want to add a section. There are fields in sections. This is another important concept. For example, you can see here the ISBN is in a section. When there's more than one field which are dependent on each other, they go in a section. For example, this paperback relates to this ISBN, but this title is all by itself. If there was a subtitle, it would also be inside here because the subtitle relates to the title. The extent, in this case, just has 71 pages. Dimensions, these are all single ones. So let's say I want to add another ISBN to this. I'm going to add a section, not a field, a section, and then when I save the record, that new section will be combined with this section. I'll have two sections together divided by a line. Let's see. So on the bottom here, I'm going to say add section. And the section I'm going to have is going to be an identifier. And there's a million different kinds of identifiers, but we're going to start with an ISBN. Add. Now I have the add field here, and I'm just going to look at the top one just to point something out, the one that already exists, and I'm adding another one. So we have the value, and then we have a qualifier. It already knows it's ISBN because the name of the section is ISBN. So we're going to add here actually, I can even just put anything in here, but let's say this. I'm going to say ISBN. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. I'm going to add field here. Stay with me. Reset. Okay. Add field. And let's say here, FGH, identifier. Add. Now I can put in whatever value. It's not going to be a real ISBN. That's not our purpose here. I'll put in today's date just so I have something unique and today's time. And now here, I'm going to add another field. I'm not adding a field from the bottom because if I click this add field, it's add fields in this section. And now it was qualifier, if I remember correctly. Qualifier. Here I'm going to add, and it's going to be paperback. Now I'm going to save. Think of that as a 020 with the ISBN, then a subfield Q which would say paperback. They're dependent on each other. Just like they would need to be in the same mark field, they need to be in the same section here. Now I'm going to save this record, luxury blue lace, let's remember, because we're going to go back in and see something. Now if I come and I look at this again, I'm going to say edit record. And we'll go to the ISBN. Now you see both of them together in the same section, separated by this little line here. All right, I'm going to stop because we want to give Yifat some time. So I will stop the sharing, and Yifat, take it away.
Thank you, Yoel, for this wonderful session. And
I'm sorry for giving you only 5 minutes. I always say we got to start making these much longer.
I'm okay with that, with whatever you give me, because it's such a great session. I must say that we have a lot of interesting input, a lot of interest user with this session. It's great to see it, and thank you for being part of this. We got a few interesting input, and the things I'm taking out of this, I have a list. And one of the main things I think is that you are asking for such an logical and good stuff. Part of them are part of the standard, which we are not the owner of the standard. We are not, cannot, like the notes issue, that BIBFRAME does not provide a good solution for local nodes like we have in the 9x6 fields of Mark 21. And this is something that the community, the library community worldwide, should impact Library of Congress on this. We will do
this kind of stuff. Let me interrupt for 1 second, Yifat. This comes up a lot where something is developed and then things are requested, and in some cases we can't do what's requested because we need to stay with the guidelines, and even if it sounds logical, we can't do it because we're dependent on the standard of the world. It happened when Counter Release 5 came out as well. We wanted to do things people suggested, but we were dependent on Counter Release 5. Sorry,
but the more people using this system and the more impact we will have, and part of you are taking action in Library of Congress committee and can impact there. We are doing it as well, so let's do it together. Another interesting input for the whole all of us is having some kind of a job like the preferred term correction job to respectively update the URI. This is a great idea. And again, if we see a real engagement of the community and a real demand for this, I think this is a great idea. More things like having shared VDI as an API. And one of the things we say that the lookup is a limited list, but when a user will come to us and say, share VDI is a very major source for us, please have it, and we see that there is a proper API, which I think there is for share VDI, we can go with green light on this and more. And actually, I'm very happy to take part of this because I see engagement. I see people are really asking relevant and practical questions of how am I going to use it, or what can improve the workflow of Link Open Data Editor BIBFRAME. And this just goes with my request for those of you who didn't try it, didn't experience, try to create one record step by step, start the adoption of this new system, and we need your experience and any input you come with. We're seriously considering, and part of them are practically implemented, but unless we see a real engagement and interest of our audience, of our customers, we cannot move forward. So it's a cooperation work, and we need each other. So let's do it together and take the BIBFRAME to the correct place where it should be. Thank you.
Okay, and I see we're at the end here, and we all have additional meetings now. So the recording will be posted, and we hope to see everyone next week, June 9th, for physical fulfillment developments in the 2026 Roadmap webinar series. And thanks a lot. We'll let you know when the recording is posted by a message to the Alma list. Take care, and thanks, Yifat. Bye-bye.
Thank you.